Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste children. Today we are going to see recap for the last session class in history chapter number 1, how, when and where. Now we are going to see about Robert Clive. He was one of the creator of British power in India. He won the Battle of Plassey and became the first British administrator of Bengal. Next, we are going to see about the James Rennell. He was the leading British geographer of Robert Clive time. He constructed the first nearly accurate map of India and published a Bengal Atlas, a work important for British strategic and administrative interest. While serving the Royal Navy, Rennell became an expert surveyor. He later joined the East India Company and became Surveyor General of Bengal. He was responsible for producing numerous local and provisional maps. Robert Clive asked Rennell to produce maps of Hindustan. British saw the preparation of maps as essential to the process of domination. The picture where we have been looking to the front page of this lesson here tries to suggest that Indians willingly gave over their ancient text to Britannia, the symbol of British power, as if asking her to become the protector of Indian culture. The next topic is how important are dates. Here in people in India those days they don't have the habit of drinking tea or coffee, but they developed a taste for it and slowly they just have the habit of drinking tea or coffee. Here we don't know in which date they have been started to drink tea or coffee. The next topic is which dates. Here in this the British Governor General or Viceroys, they have been given importance only to their policies, activities, and achievements. They never worried about the Indian people and their livelihood. Next, how do we periodize? Here, the James Mill have been divided history into three periods in his book, A History of British India. Here, the three periods are Hindu, Muslims, and British. Here he says that before British came to India, the India where been despots ruled under the Hindu and Muslims. They have the religious intolerance, caste taboos, and superstitious practices. But once the British were being came rule towards India, mm, he felt that Indians will be civilized and they also have the European manners, arts, institutions, and laws in India. Here the historians also says that Indian history have been divided into three periods, that is ancient, medieval and modern period. Here in this modern period where been have the growth of all the forces of modernity, that is science, democracy, liberty and equality, where this we can't be seen towards the medieval as well as ancient. Next topic is what is colonial. Here the colonial, which is refers to under the British rule, people did not have equality, freedom or liberty, nor was the period one of the economic growth and progress. Thus, many historians refers to this period as colonial. The next topic is how do we know? How do historians write history? What are the sources they refer? There has to be some proof or evidence that is guidance for last 250 years of Indian history. Answer to that question is official record of British administration. Any official documents serve as evidence or proof. One good thing of British is was that they believed the act of writing. Every instruction, plan, policy decision, agreement, investigation had to be clearly written up. So that is a good thing because if we write down things, we can later on study or debate on it. So this is something the British did religiously. They made reports, notes, almost of everything. Now I want to imagine this. If you write everything, then you must also keep it safe, right? Yes. British made a record room in all of the administration institutions to preserve all important documents and letters. Now, this is another important step they took. Today, look around in schools, office, hospital, everywhere you will have record room or administrative office that keeps all the documents or information safe. Now you can think about it how these ideas came and from where it came. Specialized institutions like archives and museums were also established to preserve important records. Letters and memos that moved from one branch of administration to another in the early years of the 19th century can still be read in the archives. Yes, what do you mean by archives? It is a collection of historical documents or records providing information about a place, institution, or a group of people. For an example, in Delhi, we can see National Museum and Archives. Yes, it is a place for record room in which all the document and letters of the government and various administrators have been arranged as per the date. This place has all the documents from 18th century and it is preserved in good condition. Yes, one beautiful thing to notice about the documents that the British produced, they were written by calligraphists. In the early years of the 19th century, these documents were carefully copied out and beautifully written by calligraphists. Yes, what do you mean by that? People have beautiful handwriting, and with the introduction of printing machines, these records with such a beautiful handwriting go printed in several copies and they were all spread around. That's how each government department started using similar handwriting for official letters. Now let us see the other topic, surveys become important. In that, we can see the three divisions, that is revenue surveys, census, and other surveys. The practice of surveying also became common under the British period, and they believed that a country had to be properly known before it could be effectively administered. Yes, in the 19th century, they had a detailed survey. They just were being carried out to a map the entire country. Why? Because if in a remote area also, if they want to make a any surveys, for an example revenue survey, so they should know about the topography, the soil quality, the flora, the fauna, and the cropping pattern, so that they can be have the calculation how much of the amount they can be get a revenue from that particular region. From the end of the 19th century, the other operations were held, which is called as a census. Census were being taken every 10 years once. These prepared detailed records of the number of people in all the provinces of India, noting information on caste, religion, gender, and occupations. The other surveys are botanical surveys, zoological survey, archaeological survey, forest survey, etc. In botanical surveys, we can see the different types of plants, and we can see the different uses and many specimens and many varieties of plants and flowers we can see in this botanical survey, and they will also have the botanical name for the different plants. The same for the zoological survey also. They will have the how many animals are there, what type of animals we can see, what are all the zoological name, and how much in count, everything we can see in this survey. The last topic of this chapter is what official records do not tell. Here the British, what the officials thought, what they were interested in, and what they wished to preserve for posterity. These records do not always help us understand what other people in the country felt and what lay behind their actions. When we begin to search for other sources, we find them in plenty, though they are more difficult to get than official records, like diaries of people, travelogues, autobiographies of important personalities, popular booklets which were being sold in local bazaars, local newspapers, movies, and novels. In novels, leaders and reformers wrote to spread their ideas, poets and novelists wrote to express their feelings. Example, Paramchand's writings are a great source of information about the life of people and their condition during the colonial period. And for the movies, Indian film industry produced films on social issues like casteism, exploitation of women and patriotism. All these sources, however, were produced by those who have been literate, but we will not able to understand how history was experienced. Why? Because in those days the people, we can't expect all the people were being literate. There are some people, they have been lived by the tribals and peasants. Some might be work in mines, some might be poor, and they don't have any literate knowledge also. Here I have given some vocabulary from this lesson. We have completed this lesson, that is how, when and where in history. Kindly recap the points and vocabulary. Thank you.